Alright, you lot. Yeah, I'm talking to you, keyboard warriors and armchair analysts who think Twitch numbers mean a damn thing about game success. Let's get one thing straight right out at gate. Watching a game and playing it are two entirely different beasts. You lot need a reality check, and lucky for you, I'm here to provide it. So buckle up, because today we're diving deep into myth that high Twitch numbers make a game successful. Spoiler alert, they don't. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe and all that bollocks. It helps channel grow. Alright, let's get into it. Right, let's get down to brass tacks. Somehow this idea has wormed its way into people's skulls that high Twitch views mean the game's successful. Look, just cause a bunch of people sit around watching a game don't mean they're actually playing it. You know what watching a game makes you? A spectator, not a player. It's like thinking a football team's winning cause everyone's glued to the screens. Nah, they've still got to play it damn game, score goals, take hits. Here's a nugget of wisdom for you. Games are meant to be played, not gawked at like some endless live feed nonsense. Twitch, YouTube, whatever, it's great for exposure, sure, but a game's real test is in engagement. Are people logging hours in game, or are they just letting some streamer do heavy lifting while they sit there with a popcorn? And don't get me started on misguided mob who claim, well, if a game ain't up in Twitch, it must be dead. Really? Tell that to games with small, loyal player bases, ones people sink years into without ever hitting front page of stardom on Twitch. I mean, look at games like X-Defiant, for instance. You know, not every game has to be a Twitch superstar to have solid, loyal players who actually want to play. It's about actual gameplay quality, mechanics that feel right, objectives that keep you coming back, not some popularity contest that means note to guy holding controller. These days, games success is like high school all over again, people fixated on popularity over substance. Newsflash, folks, it's not about who's got most followers or whose game everyone's gossiping about. It's about who's actually in game, sweating it out, grinding, learning and improving. And look, I'm not saying streaming's worthless. It's entertaining, I get it. But it's not holy grail of metrics, alright? A real gamer judges a game by how it feels in their hands, not by watching some wannabe pro going off in front of a virtual crowd. Why are we letting Twitch views and live stream numbers dictate which games are successful? Have we lost plot completely? Here's the thing, watchability and playability are two separate animals. Just cause something is entertaining to watch, don't mean it's any good to actually play. Let's talk about gameplay mechanics for a second. Some of the most watchable games out there are also some of the most frustrating and tedious games to play yourself. Think about it. We've got games out there designed purely to give streamers most jaw-dropping, oh my god, did you see that moments. But try playing a game yourself, and it's like slogging through mud with a broken leg. Half the time they're so RNG heavy or filled with pointless grind that it's more fun to watch someone else suffer through it than do it yourself. Take a game like X-Defiant, for example. Now, it might not be topping Twitch charts every damn day, but when you're actually playing it, there's something real there. Gameplay feels tight, mechanics hit mark, and you're not just there for some streamer's reaction. You're there for gameplay, great, actual experience of going head to head, objective by objective. It's raw, it's challenging, and you're not just a passive viewer, you're in thick of it. That's difference. And here's another point for you. This obsession with Twitch numbers, it's creating some Frankenstein's monster of game design. Devs are forced to make games that cater to streamability, flashy kills, non-stop action, those viral moments that look great on camera. But who suffers? Actual players. Games get pushed out, hyped up for their Twitch-friendly features, and players get hit with bugs, shallow mechanics, and complete lack of depth. Let's get real, this obsession with Twitch views has practically turned gamers into a bunch of bloody bystanders. I mean, think about it. We got people spending hours watching streamers grind away like they're tuning into some digital soap opera, and then they waltz around online parroting opinions of whatever streamer they saw last night, acting like they're experts in games they hadn't even downloaded, yet alone play themselves. It's gaming turned passive, and it's downright pathetic. Now there's this odd belief floating around that if a game don't perform well on Twitch, it's a flop. Let me tell you something. Best games aren't always ones plastered across your Twitch feed. You think chess and poker exploded because they were all over Twitch? Nah, they stood test of time because of actual engagement. People investing time and skill into mastering game, not because they look good on screen. But here we are in 2024 and suddenly every game needs to be this constant spectacle to even be considered successful. That's how you end up with titles designed to look good rather than play good. And you know what? That's why half the games we see come and go faster than a caffeine eye. Flashy, shallow, and completely forgettable. These games are like fireworks. They light up sky for a second, grab all your attention, and then poof, gone without a trace. They were only designed to entertain viewers, not players. But ask any real gamer and they'll tell you that longevity ain't built on trending or views. It's built on gameplay depth, kind of stuff that keeps you coming back day after day. That's why games with small but loyal player bases survive. Hell, look at those indie gems that never make it onto Twitch, yet have a community that sticks around for years. Might not be flashy, but they're playable, they're challenging, they're actually enjoyable. Look, games built for players, and I mean real players, focus on gameplay, immersion and progression. They're not just crammed full of gimmicks for some streamer to milk for a few hours. They're built to be played, to be enjoyed over time, not to trend for a week and disappear. And that's irony. By chasing views, devs are neglecting the exact thing that makes games stand test of time, an experience that players love, not just viewers. Let's pull back curtain on these so-called influencers, these Twitch superstars who seem to dictate gaming landscape with every click and comment. Look, I get it, people like to watch pros, get tips, feel like they're part of a community. But here's the problem, these streamers have turned into gatekeepers of gaming success. One offhand comment, one dramatic rant and suddenly a game is dead or god tier or based on what? Their personal taste and whatever's good for their own views. Not players. Here's a bit of pill to swallow. A lot of these influencers aren't even geek gamer honest shake. Their job is to entertain, not necessarily to dig into game's mechanics, its long-term appeal or its depth. They're looking for big flashy moments, instant gratification, things that'll make viewers drop their jaw in chat. If a game doesn't deliver that in the first 5 minutes, they write it off. Next thing you know, thousands of people are parroting their opinion without ever touching the game themselves. And sad part? Developers are bowing to these influencers like they're some kind of oracles, adjusting game balance, changing core features, even tweaking difficulty all to please someone who might only play it once and then move on. But ask yourself this, when was the last time a streamer's opinion actually matched up with what real players thought? People putting in hours, grinding through gameplay, experience highs and lows. Yeah, rarely. Because what makes a game fun to watch is often miles apart from what makes it fun to play. Let's be blunt here, real gamers don't care about 5-minute highlights. They care about engagement, immersion, and a game that keeps them hooked for weeks, months, sometimes years. But we're in this ridiculous feedback loop now where influencers drive trends, devs pander to those trends, and players, actual players, get left with something that looks great on camera but feels hollow when you're actually holding controller. So, you legends, if you made it this far, then you're clearly not here for fluff. You're here because you get it. Gaming is about experience, not circus actor Twitch views and popularity contests. It's about what it feels like to play, not to watch. And it's high time we as players take back narrative and let developers know what we actually want. Real, immersive, damn good games that don't just look pretty for camera. Now before you go, do me a solid. Smash that like button, hit subscribe and leave your comments and questions below. Got a hot take? Got a gripe? I want to hear it. And who knows, might even feature it on the channel. I'll see you next time, you magnificent.